So here we are at the penultimate episode of Alien Earth. Episode 7, called Emergence. But what exactly does that mean? Let's find out. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My review for Alien Earth, Episode 7. Like I said already, this episode is entitled Emergence. Does that mean that we might have the emergence of a good storyline, some decent writing? Probably not. That's the way this series seems to be going. So this episode starts where the last episode left off. Toodles is dead. You know, the dumb idiot went into the enclosure with those fly aliens. Instead of just opening the door and throwing the tray in or throwing the food in, no, he went in. There's video footage of this that Boy Cavalier has and Kirsch has. They can see exactly what happens, and it intrigues Boy Cavalier because of what the sheep has done, the Oculus alien. All while this is going on, obviously, we have the young Indian lad, I don't know his name, who has taken Arthur, the English scientist, with the face hugger on his face. He's managed to get him into his room. God only knows how this has occurred. I don't know. But he's got him into that room and he's smuggled his body under the bed. He's hidden it under his bed like a kid would do. This face hugger on. The other brother comes in, the black boy. He comes in and he kind of gets enlisted into this scenario to help. So these two here are walking around the compound, evading security. Are there no cameras or anything like this? Carrying this body with an alien face over attack. Seriously, carrying this thing around this facility, dodging the guards. Has this program forgotten that they can see what these kids can see? That these kids have got cameras? I know that Arthur had switched off the tracking in the previous episode, but did he switch off the cameras? Because they still had cameras of what was going on inside that facility, inside, you know, with Toodles. They still knew what was going on with him and had footage of that through his eyes. So there must have been, you know, it's a bit of a, it's just poor writing yet again. Other stuff happens in this episode. Clearly they get him, Arthur, down to the beach, carrying him. They get helped by Kirsch. Kirsch comes along and sees them aimlessly wandering about the corridors and says to him, well, what are you doing? Why are you going this way? Why aren't you going that way? He allows him to take Arthur to the beach. And this comes right on top of Wendy actually releasing the xenomorph. Because she's gone in previously into the facility, into this, you know, the lab. She's seen that Toodles is dead. This has unnerved her, upset her a bit. She doesn't like what she's seeing. She doesn't like what's going on. And while there's all these other individuals in that lab kind of cleaning it up, so to speak, she releases the xenomorph that kills everyone in there and then flees the facility. The xenomorph finds a way out for a service hatch or something like that, or a drain pipe or something silly, they said. Seriously, security in this place is poor. There's ways in and out. You know, you've got these air vents at a nice size with the vents that just pop off. You can get into them. You've obviously got other ways out. This isn't a secure facility whatsoever, and there's hardly anyone else walking around in it. So anyway, so the boys have got Arthur down at the beach. You know, the facehugger drops off. I mean, this is laughable. This is almost comedic stuff that we're seeing in this episode. I'm talking that they're, you know, they're walking around carrying Arthur up and down the corridors. That in itself is amusing. When they're at the beach, they see the soldiers coming, you know, towards the beach. They see the soldiers coming. They rush into some foliage. They hide there. Once the soldiers are past, they get up. They turn around. Arthur's gone. He's not there. Where is he? Where is he? They're looking around like that, and the facehugger falls out of the tree. Obviously, it's come off, it's crawled up, it's died, it's dropped down, and then Arthur stood there. When the aliens drop, facehugger, they scream. The kids scream out loud. The soldiers are not even bloody 20 metres away at this point, time-wise. They would have heard them. They don't hear them. They don't come back. And Arthur's like, oh, what's that? What's going on? They take him down to the beach. Arthur realises that they're sort of lying to him, that he'll help them. Let's go back to the facility, at which point the chest burster comes out of Arthur. At this point, the brother, the black brother, I don't know their names at this point. I think the Indian one's called Slightly or something. His name is Slightly. I might be slightly wrong with that. He realises that he's lied to him, and he's saying, well, you would have done it too, blah, 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 if your family, you know, all that nonsense. Anyway, so you've got a xenomorph on the loose, full-size xenomorph, and you now got a chest burster on the loose as well, running round. Boy Cavalier and Adrian Edmondson, Vivian from the young ones, they've taken sheep clearly into Boy Cavalier's quarters, essentially, or something like that, and they're looking at it, blah, 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 and the sheep knows maths. The sheep knows pi. It's communicating with Boy Cavalier, stomping its feet, telling him the next numbers in the pi, you know, numbering. I don't know. I was expecting this sheep to actually speak. I was expecting it to form words. And he gets the idea of using one of the mould scrubbers that we've seen in other episodes to get the eye onto, so that they can actually communicate with it verbally. Whether that'll happen or not, or what. Then they've got an idea of, oh, I know who we can use. Who will that be? I'm not entirely sure myself. But there we go. Anyway, so at this point, you've got the brother and sister, you know, one with the eyebrows down here. Are they real eyebrows on them both, or has one of them got eyebrows that come down here and then fake ones on the other, like fake ones on the brother? I just can't take the eyes off their eyebrows. They're just so bloody alien-esque in themselves. So they've escaped. They've got out with the pregnant, bulbous-eyed, ginger-haired girl, and they're followed. They get caught by these soldiers, and then the alien, the full-size xenomorph, jumps out of the tree. Wendy's talking to it like this, and it kills all these soldiers, and it comes up to her. She manages to pet it, and she tells it in a little way of screeching to follow them at a distance, basically protect them. They get down to the pier, they get onto a boat, only they're captured at this point. Bulbous eye redhead girl, she goes a bit insane. She kills one of the soldiers. She crashes his face essentially, and you've got these other soldiers that are on the dock. They're not doing anything. They're not doing anything while this is going on. They're just stood there like this, looking, watching, pointing a gun. They're not firing, nothing like that, right? And then the brother steps in. The brother picks up a gun and tases her essentially, and all this sort of stuff while the alien watches on from the foliage. Seriously, you know, you've got writing in this that is so bad. At the very end, Kirsch, they've caught the xenomorph, the baby xenomorph, the chest burster one, and it's in this carry case. And the black fella comes in, you know, the one from the ship. That guy, his name eludes me now as well. Seriously, it's how badly written this is. I can't even remember the names. He comes in, pointing a gun at the head of Slightly. That is his name. At least I got that name right. Pointing the gun at Slightly's head. All these soldiers around them. Kirsch comes through carrying the case. You know, oh, you've lost, blah, blah, blah. We've got the baby thingy. Right, plonks it down on the ground. Says to the soldiers, take him away. He then turns around. Kirsch turns around with the two boys walking off. Completely forgot about the case that's on the floor with the baby thingamajig in it, while all the soldiers are gathering over what's-his-face to take him away. Seriously, the writing is atrocious. Things are forgotten. Things are just bypassed. Things are just, you know, okay, we get quite a bit of alien action in this. And if I was quite, you know, I mean, clearly that's what people want, and that's what excites people. They see a bit of alien action, and they're like, oh, this is the best thing ever. This is a great episode because there's an alien killing people. Do you know what I mean? That sort of nonsense. However, again, it's filmed in daylight. They're in the woods in broad daylight, and even the makers know that this thing looks crap, right? This thing looks pretty crap because they're hiding it discreetly with leaves, the camera shots of it when it's crouched down and Wendy stroking the blood off of its face, the long camera shots, the lower part of the body is hidden by trees or leaves and that. The camera's behind a bush essentially to hide the fact that it's a person just crouched down in a suit. I know that the aliens are people in suits, they have been before when they're not CGI'd, but they're always filmed a certain way. They're always filmed in darkness. To film this in broad daylight, it's kind of like we're not allowed to scare you. We're not allowed to try and scare you with this creature anymore. It has to be on full show. Now, imagine watching this program prior to watching Alien, the very first Alien film, where you've got an alien that can clearly, that can be communicated with by one of these girls, by Wendy. She can communicate with it. It lowers that fear factor of what this creature is and what this creature can do, because it's kind of humanizing it in a sense. It's like the dragons in bloody Game of Thrones, you know. This is like the mother of dragons, the mother of aliens. It's you know, the only saving grace is that this is the penultimate episode and there's one episode left. This program had so much promise when it was through its advertising campaign. It looked really good, and what we've actually got is a mess. Noel Hawley, who's written this, is actually a very good writer. He's proved it in TV stuff that he has done before. Fargo, I'm looking at you, TV series. But here, it's a mess. It's a convoluted mess. Things don't make sense. Things are established, things are forgotten. You know, even in the instances, like I said, this alien in the case on the floor, they walk away from it. Well, it's like they've forgotten that it's there. Like, it ain't been picked up and carried off with him or anything like this. It is, the writing is garbage on this show. There's one episode left at this point, and that's next week. You know, obviously I will be watching that, we'll be reviewing it, and we'll see how that one goes. But this one, again, it's just, you know, there's some good in there. There is some good in there, and it could be good, but it's let down by all this other stuff, all this crap that actually weighs the show down and turns it into nothing more than a pile of dross. Let me know your thoughts on this episode in the comments down below. See you later.